Teivo Teivainen is a professor at the University of Helsinki. He spoke about the significance of their meeting.
Even though these two presidents have met in recent years, this was the first official state-level visit since 2002. And it comes in a very important moment because Finland is soon taking over the presidency of the European Union. And in recent months, there's been perhaps some tension in the China-EU relationships. So the Finnish President Sauli Niinistö likes to play a role of some kind of mediator, whether it's between the European Union and China, between the United States and Russia, and in general between the big powers. And he's known as someone who tries to, on the one hand, avoid questions that might seem rude to his hosts, and at the same time he doesn't want to appear as too much of a poodle of any great powers. And in the case of China, he's tried to avoid not seeming too enchanted by the famous Chinese panda diplomacy.
You know, these countries are very different, though, opposites in many ways. You have Finland, a smaller country, and China, a larger country. What can they learn from each other?
In Finland, the attitude of President Niinistö has been that Finland shouldn't take an attitude of teaching China about things like rule of law and human rights, but at the same time taking up certain issues that have to do with governance and rule of law. Of course, in various issues, including education, or more specifically during this visit, know-how related to winter sports. In Finland now, some people have started talking about hockey diplomacy, perhaps a play on the words of panda diplomacy that is used about China. And Finland has a lot of know-how in winter sports, and there's a lot of snow here. So Finnish both state and private companies see this as an opportunity now that there's Olympics coming in China in 2022. And I understood today an agreement was signed where there are several events, dozens of events this year and in the years to come, that would help Finnish and Chinese connect around these issues. I think the year ends in an event in Rovaniemi in northern Finland, and this also connects with tourism and tourism interests, which is one of the fields that Finnish delegation that has traveled to China has been very interested in, because if you go to Rovaniemi, I was there quite recently, you see a lot of Chinese tourists, and you see a lot of tourist facilities that are preparing for a possible further arrival of more and more Chinese tourists. So the sports and winter sports cooperation can also be linked up with tourism cooperation. So, and those were two of the areas that have been discussed today.
Also on their agenda, trade, climate issues, the Arctic Council, and the Belt and Road Initiative. Talk about those exchanges and the conversations taking place about those issues.
Climate change is also related to the growing importance of the Arctic area for China, for Finland, and for Chinese-Finnish relationship, because global warming means there are new trade routes opening through Arctic waters, and Finland is making various kinds of plans how to hook up with Chinese new trade routes in the future. These, at the same time, have opened various controversies in Finland, especially with railroad projects that would connect with Chinese trade routes and that go through indigenous lands of the Sami people. And some of the Sami people have been protesting about this. So there are various kinds of issues that are in many ways interconnected, and many of them with the global climate change question.